Well, hey, welcome. This is really our first time doing this. This is digital protection, cybersecurity training. This is something that affects every single person, young and old. We kind of have a tagline that we're using for this. The best firewall against cyber attackers is your brain. Because we really believe that there's no amount of training, there's no amount of resources or items that you could buy that will protect your identity and your reputation and your finances in the digital world that we're all forced to live in. Whether we like it or not, we are all in a digital world where our identities, our finances, our data is online and it's trackable. So we believe that the best way to be not just protected, but to be able to be confident that your information will be secure is really to train ourselves on how to properly interact with these things. So this is designed to be about 45 minutes, and we definitely want to take your questions, examples, and lessons learned of your own as we go towards the end of this. So I think you all know, but I'm Pastor Dan Shunk. I have lived here in Franklin County for 23 years, and we went to Maine for 20 years, and we've been back in Chambersburg for 5 years. Okay, I think everybody here knows that, but maybe that'll help somebody out online. I have had 12 years of military cybersecurity experience in doing this exact thing. So in that time, we've seen lots of technology, lots of pieces and resources change over the years, and we've only seen the threat from bad actors increase over that time. It has not gone down, and it will not go down. We'll continue to be opened up to these threats, so we're gonna find ways to protect ourselves today. So the general table of contents of what we're gonna go over today. This is kind of the order that we're gonna tackle this really important subject. We're gonna first state the problem. I want to make sure we hit the nail on the head with what is the concern. Why is this a big deal? We're gonna state the problem, and then we're gonna go over some key disciplines for how we can be protected and ready and disciplined ourselves. And then we'll go over some practical exercises and then kind of recap with some key takeaways to make sure we're going to remember some of the most important things to not lose track of as we leave here today. So let's state the problem first. Let's really define what we're talking about. I recently, in another capacity, ran a test email, a scam email, to about 2,000 users in an organization. And in doing that, we sent out a fraudulent email trying to get as many people as possible to click on the link in the email. We sent that out through a fake Gmail account. We had some misspellings in it, but of course you put all of the hallmarks in it that somebody that wants to steal your information would do. You know, you put in a time-sensitive thing, like, if you respond now, you'll get the prize, kind of thing. We put in other things, like we had it signed by a very important person, you know, things like that, somebody that they would have all known, like, oh, this is from that person. Oh, it must be trustworthy. But no, it wasn't from that person. We sent it from a fake Gmail account, pretending to be that person. And so the results of this test, I wanted to just go over that with you a little bit. The results of this fraudulent test was that 97 people, individual people, clicked on the link that we sent them in this fake email. 97 people. You know, you say 100 out of 2,000 people, that's 5%. 5% of the people that we sent this email to fell for it, thinking it was legitimate. This fraudulent email ultimately was clicked on more than 130 times altogether. What does that tell you? It means some people clicked it multiple times, right? Like, what just happened? Let me do it again, right? Like, we had a few people that clicked on it 4 times, an individual or two that clicked on it 4 times. It's like, what, you want to show your buddy what you just fell for? Is that what you're doing? Like, this is not helping, you know. So just 15 people clicked on the link multiple times. 8 people clicked on the link 3 times or more. So in total, 5% of the people in that test are just giving away their reputation, their data, their identity, their finances. They're just saying, oh, take it. I don't care enough to even pay attention. We asked some of the people for some of the top reasons why they clicked on this link that was fraudulent. We asked them some of the things that they saw in the email that made them think it was legitimate. And from everyone that we interviewed that fell for the scam and clicked on the link in the email, none of them even considered what they were clicking on. When we said, well, was there anything about the email that you saw that might have been questionable? And they were just like, well, I didn't read it, I just clicked it. That is the primary thing we are going to drill into your mind today. When you get a phone call, when you get an email, when you get any other information coming into you, we want you to intentionally say, what is this? That's the first big takeaway, because we cannot have 5% of people just giving away their information simply because they don't even understand that there's a threat. If somebody contacts you, your first thought should be, I think this is fake. That should be the first thought in your mind. Until I have reasons to believe this, I think this is fake. So that's a real life example that just happened. All right, just to continue to state the problem. See, the part of this issue is that attackers are nearly uncatchable. We were talking earlier about a scam through the mail. And the attackers were typically in other countries, China, India, Indonesia, and other places, and they would hire people within America just simply to do their legwork, pick up a package and move it and things like that. You might be able to catch some of these low-level people they call mules, but you're never going to catch the people that are actually launching these scams. The likelihood of detecting and prosecuting the perpetrators of cyber attacks in the U.S. is at 0.05%. Do the math, but there is not very many. I think that's 20,000. Like out of every 20,000 scams, they're catching one person. That's a very dismal number. This has resulted in $16.4 billion per day of lost finances. That's 86% of data breaches overall are motivated simply to get your money. And can I just go back to what we said at the beginning? And 5% of people are willing just to hand it over without even a fight, without even thinking. And that's what where we want to start and how we want to begin by fixing this. We just mentioned the data loss statistics right there, the financial loss statistics. But beyond financial loss, just to finish up the question of what is the problem, it's more than just losing your finances. It's also about losing reputation. It's also about losing time. These are the other things. Has anybody ever had an account compromised and now you're on the phone? You're contacting your bank. You're contacting these people. You got to cancel this. You got to set up the new. Just that alone is a headache that we want to prevent you from having to go through. By show of hands, how many people in this room have had an account of any kind compromised that you've had to then close and reopen something else? By show of hands. That's more than half the room. And dare I say of 18 and older, that's almost the whole room. Okay? That's what we're talking about. We're going to prevent that from happening as much as possible. So the reputation loss. If somebody is compromised that is of any named reputation at all, they're after that person's money. But they're also going to launch an attack by way of trying to tell them that if that person doesn't give them even more money, then we will do something fraudulently in your name to ruin your reputation. So if you have any reputation whatsoever, they will get your money and then say, if you don't give us more money, we will ruin your name by sending out whatever's on your phone or device or whatever else. So we're trying to protect your name, your money, and all your data. That's the idea behind this. So let's go into a couple of these key disciplines here. Time loss, reputation loss, financial loss. Let's go into some of the key disciplines. We're going to do this in 3 areas altogether. We're going to talk about, we want to identify and mitigate the threats. We also want to identify and mitigate vulnerabilities. We're going to take a second just to define those 2 things. Okay, I want to make sure we don't want to get too heady, but you have to understand those 2 terms, and that will really help us out. And then finally, we're going to talk about communication. How do you defeat a bad guy? Tell everybody they're there. Tell everybody it's happening. Spread the word. Help people out. We're going to talk about communication in just a second. So let's break this down into these 3 disciplines. Here's the first one we'll talk about. Identifying and mitigating the threats. Not a vulnerability, but a threat. What is a threat? Well, by definition, a threat is someone who's seeking to harm you. It's someone that is coming to you saying with a bad intention, and they want to steal your reputation, time, or money. That's a threat, and they're imposing that upon you. So active attacks can come to you from sources like email, text messages, social media apps, but also telephone calls. We were just hearing an example earlier of a telephone call scam that someone had. So this is going to happen in lots and lots of different avenues. These are different threat vectors. This is a method or a path that somebody can threaten to get your information. That's an active attack. But there's also passive attacks that we need to watch for. Passive attacks are something like somebody puts a website ad on your favorite website that you visit, and it's an ad, and they want you to click on that ad. It's just passively sitting there waiting to see who will click on that ad. And you click on the ad and it says something like, we can enter you in this lottery. And you enter in the lottery to win the prize. And they email you 3 days later like, you won the lottery. And there it starts. There it starts. That's a passive attack. That's a passive attack. It's just something sitting there waiting for you to click on it. So there are active threats we have to watch for. That would be people sending you communication on purpose. There's passive attacks, but also watch out for the fact that they are going to intentionally target, you're not a marionette, but they're going to intentionally target your heartstrings. Okay? The strings of your heart. They will say, because of the COVID disaster, we need your help. They're targeting your heart. World disasters, world wars happening. We need your help. Please help us. And so they will pull on your compassion and your sympathy to try to gain that kind of acceptance. And if it's not based on some heartstring that they're trying to pull, it'll be based on some personal connection. Some personal connection. Watch out for that. We all know such and such a person, and we really need to help that person in this desperate time of need. It could even be a nation. It could be Israel, help them out. Compromise, and now they know the name of your mother. And they're like, I grew up with her, and, maybe we never met or anything, but I want to help her out. Can you, and there the scam starts. And you've never heard of this person. So that's some methods, and TTP we call it, tactics, techniques, and procedures to watch out for. There's active attacks. They will contact you in some way. There's passive attacks. And see, that one often gets people because they're like, well, they weren't threatening me. It was just some ad I clicked on. They put the ad there to threaten you, okay? Every ad that is on every website and every social media ad is not necessarily your friend, okay? They're not necessarily just trying to sell you the widget. They can easily buy an ad to scam you. So be aware of these things. Be aware. And they will target you using current events and personal connections on purpose. So what do we do about this? What do we do about this threat that either comes in actively or passively? Here's a couple of things we want to do to mitigate the threat, or to try not to fall for the threat. I want to go over just a couple of key things to do. Number one of what we should do: don't click the link. Don't go to the attachment. We have trainings. We talk to people about these things a lot. And you say this, but the audience has to receive it. If you get an email from somebody that you don't recognize and you didn't expect it, you get a text message that you didn't expect, but it says it's from Verizon, and I use Verizon for everything. They can say they're from Verizon all day long, but if you didn't expect it and you didn't know they were sending it to you, it might not have come from Verizon. So don't click on any links or go to any attachments until you have reasons to believe that it's real. Same with ads. Same with ads on websites and on social media. Social media apps, Instagram, Facebook, all of them, TikTok, they all have ads, right? Some of those posts are not just in your feed, but somebody paid money to put that there. Okay? And it's not going to be something ugly like, here's a club of Satan, click me. No, it'll be something fun that you're interested in to get you to click it, right? So watch out for these things. They will intentionally get you to go, but don't click it. Don't click it unless you have reasons to believe it's trustworthy. Instead, what should you do? Go directly to the source of what you're looking for. If you get the ad that pops up that says, today only 70% discount at Lowe's, There's some guys in the room that are like, I'm clicking, okay. How do you find out if that's legitimate? You don't click on the ad. You know what you do? Get the information from what's being said, okay? Call them. Go to the Lowe's app. Go to the Lowe's website directly. And then look it up. That's what it means to go to the source. They see that ad and it's like, today, this weekend only. And you're like, oh, click. No. Instead, you could be 100% assured that you're safe if you read the ad, take the information, take a picture of it if you want, take the information, and then go to the source, and then you'll know. And guess what? Now you're 100% safe. You just went to Lowe's.com or whatever, and now you're 100% safe. That's what it means. Go to the source. Go to the source. All right? Here's another one. Don't fall for the sympathy, please. Don't fall for the sympathy, please. There is no prince in Africa that needs your help. Okay? If he's a prince, he doesn't need your help. Okay? And if he's in Africa, he probably does. There are legitimate ways to support disasters, but you clicking on that ad may not be the answer. Notice, I'm not saying it is a spam. I'm saying there's no reason to take the chance. If you want to support that cause, good. Go to the source. Go to the source, and then you can support that cause. Just don't click the ad. Just don't click the ad. Do you see the difference we're trying to make there? Go to the source. Okay, so this is kind of some ideas behind watching out for threats and what you can do about it. I want to go to the second point. I want to talk about identifying and mitigating vulnerabilities. Now, if a threat is somebody out there is trying to threaten you, a vulnerability is the fact that you have a device that isn't perfect. You're using a computer, you're using an Apple, you're using a Samsung, you're using some device that isn't perfect. It's got its problems. And we have to maintain to make sure our devices don't have vulnerabilities that can be hacked. So when you get an update on your iPhone and it says, your iPhone has an update, it's available for you to install, should you install that? Yes. The answer is 100% yes. When your device gives you an official notification, your device is ready to be updated, do it. Do it. But even there, notice I'm talking about an update that says it comes from the source, from the actual. How does an iPhone give you an indicator that it has an update? Somebody tell me. How does an iPhone tell you it has an update? In the settings. Absolutely, in the settings. Could you get a notification on your iPhone that says you have an update that you can do? Yeah, you can. Would an iPhone send you a text that says you have an update to do? No, it wouldn't. Okay? So don't fall for that. That could be a scam. But when you have an update for your device, do it. Do it. So this is the first part of talking about vulnerabilities. We want to make sure our devices that we're using are constantly ready to handle any of the threats that might come in. Okay? So device software can be exploitable, and there are people all the time. Do you know why you get updates from your phone saying, please update me? And it says, oh, it was just a minor update. You know why? Because there was some hacker, whether good or bad, out there that's trying to find the problems. And if it was a bad one, he hacked it and got somebody's data, or 10. Or it was maybe a good hacker that was looking for the weaknesses and found it. And then they told Apple, or Apple found out, and they said, we got to fix that one. Because that's the nature of how source code works. You can't have everything perfect, and there's always things out there to be violated. As much as we want our phones to be perfect, they're just not. They have problems, and when these manufacturers find the problems, they'll send out an update saying, please update your phone. Oh, no big deal, but just update your phone. What they're saying is, we've had a problem that's been being exploited, and now we've got to fix. That's what they're saying. So update your phone or your computers, or whatever device you're using, update those when the manufacturer tells you to. Passwords will eventually be revealed. Passwords will eventually be revealed. What do you do about that? What do you do about that? Change them every now and again. That's one thing you can do. How about this? Also, many websites and devices now will allow for biometrics. You can use a fingerprint. You can use a face scan. Do that. Do all of the biometrics that you can. Steer away from passwords as much as you can. But for the things that you do need to use passwords for, come up with a pattern that you can change them. Whether that's annually or at some period of time, you should change your passwords from time to time. We can't micromanage that. There's no silver bullet for how to do passwords, but just have the understanding that if you have a password on a device that you've never changed in 5 or 10 years, you're lucky. You're lucky that you haven't been hacked in 5 or 10 years. You should change those every now and again. And then also on this note, please have other family and friends. They may have personal information or your passwords and have access information. So spread the word. Communicate this to other people if they're using your information. You'd be surprised at you tell one person, your Netflix password or something, and, what you didn't tell them was that, well, that's the one password that you use for everything, and then they get hacked, right, using your Netflix, and guess what? Now all of your stuff is vulnerable because you used just that one password, right? So be aware of that. If you give out one password, and that just happens to be your silver bullet, you're very vulnerable now when you spread your information, even to sources that you would trust. So be very careful with passwords and how you handle them. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about how to handle these vulnerabilities that we find, okay? How we mitigate them or handle them or make sure they don't become a problem. Number one, update your devices as soon as the updates become available. We've already talked about that. Use biometrics, face, fingerprint. This is called two-factor authentication. Two pieces of information. Maybe it needs a password and it needs your finger. Maybe it needs your face and your finger. This is two-factor authentication. Use that stuff as much as is available, as much as possible. And then change your remaining passwords that you do have at least annually. And finally on this, we talked about this, but educate your family and friends that have your information and your data. Educate them to keep that stuff private. You share a password with maybe an elderly person. They may not know, like you do, that that's sensitive. You need to keep that close hold. And make sure you say that to somebody if you share a password or any information that could lead to your data. Make sure you share that. There's one final point we want to make here for key disciplines, which is communication. Just one quick slide that we want to share about communication. This is just as important as identifying the threats, as identifying the vulnerabilities of your devices, is communication. I want to talk about this for just a second. If you receive a message in any form that you're unsure of, ask somebody. Ask somebody. I just gave the example before we were talking of a couple in the church here that received, hey, you've won the lottery and you're going to get this card delivered from Germany. And look, everything's been paid. The VAT tax has been paid. All you need to pay is the port fee. That's all that's left. And this scam that was a passive attack, by the way. That was an advertisement that they clicked on and entered a lottery. And then this whole thing begins to happen. They did the right thing. They reached out and they said, hey, would you take a look at this to tell us if you think this is legitimate or not? And in looking at that, we found lots of reasons to believe that it was a scam. There was misspellings. There was some misspellings in key areas. There was a time-sensitive element. Oh, you need to react now within the next couple of days, or there'll be fees that will accrue. Lots of tip-offs. We're going to actually go over some practical exercises in just a second here to make the point and to help you guys look at some yourself and find the indicators that would determine if something is scam or real. And so communicate. If you get something and you're like, I'm just not sure if this is legitimate or not, ask. Ask. The Bible says, in the multitude of counselors, there wanteth not for wisdom. Ask two of your closest friends. What do you think about this? Ask some people that maybe have a little experience if you can. But talk about it. Talk about it ahead of time. Don't be in a rush. Don't fall for those. You've got to click today or you're going to lose the deal. Don't fall for that. Right? We have enough of that at the car dealers. Right? Okay. So remember to start with the assumption that it is fraud. Start with the assumption it's fraud. Have you ever been into the store and the store's like, I'm going to send you an alert so that you can click on the thing and do the thing? And then you get the alert in your text. Can you trust it? Yes. They just told you, I'm going to send you an alert right now for you to click on and do the thing. That's safe. That's safe, all right? So when we say start with the assumption it's fraud, what we're talking about is when somebody sends you an active message or even a passive ad, start with the assumption this is fake. Develop reasons to believe that it's real before you click on it. That's the world we live in. I wish we lived in the 1940s that everybody that shook your hand and made a deal was trustworthy, right? It's not the world we live in. You know, in the book of 2 Corinthians, the people are complimented because they understood the times that they lived in. You know, wisdom is taking knowledge and applying it to your situation. And we have to apply the fact that we live in 2023 and the vast majority of stuff that we get in for ads and advertisements is out to get you. That's not skeptical, that's not cynicism, that's reality. That's the world we live in. We just need to know that. We need to accept that. We need to start from the assumption that when you receive these communications, it's probably fake until I develop some reasons to believe it. If you receive a message saying that it's from a trusted source, a company or a friend, you know, that you have ties with, verify it first through the official source. Communicate. We're talking about communication. If you get something in, check with some friends of yours. If you can't do that, check with the official source. But communication is a big key in these things. Don't take any action if you're like, well, I just don't know if this is legitimate. We did that test of 2,000 users recently, and everybody that fell for it that we talked to just said, I just got an email and I clicked it. But who did it come from? I don't know. I got an email and I clicked it. You know? We have to get rid of that mindset. We have to get rid of that mindset. We have to look at who things came from, and we have to analyze it before we can take any action. It's the world we live in. And then finally, another part of communication is after we do receive a threat, if you recognize a threat, tell somebody. Tell somebody. Tell the people you live with. Tell the people around you. Go to work and tell people, hey, I got this one. Have you ever seen that kind of scam? It's so much more effective when you can go to a friend and say, hey, I just got this text, or I just got this email, or hey, did you hear about Joe that just had this happen to him and he lost $5,000 or whatever? That is so much more effective than even this because it's real. It's real world. Somebody lost money. You yourself was targeted. These things are very effective in helping people watch out for these things. 16 point how many billion every day? And I dare say there's people even in Chambersburg that have lost money because of these very things. So let's go through a couple exercises now. You guys ready for this? We'll find out if the screen's big enough for you to see some things up here on the screen. And if not, I'll read it to you. And let's go through a couple of these. And then we'll interrupt ourselves in a minute and we'll see if you guys have any examples that you want to talk about as well. Okay? So here's the first one. Here's the first practical exercise. Let's see if this mic will work, hopefully. Maybe. Okay, scenario number 1. This is an email right here, okay? It says, you've received this email. Should you follow its instructions? This is an email that says it came from Jenny Shoemaker. It says it's Jenny S. at calvaryd.org. It says this email came into to Calvary Chapel, Chambersburg right here. It's got a couple of attachments or documents there on it. It says, hi, Pastor Dan. Thanks again for your call. Safe travels. Joanna would like you to fill out an account update form. The only area that you will need to fill out on this form is the church info, senior pastor name, and sign it at the bottom of page 2. If you have any questions, you can let us know. Next paragraph. In addition, your card ending with a certain number was charged today in the amount of a certain dollar for this invoice. I've attached a payment receipt for your records. Thank you for your business. It's greatly appreciated. Please let me know if you have any questions. Have a blessed evening. And it's signed by Jenny Schumacher, Accounts Payable, Calvary Distribution, with some phone numbers and email addresses. My question to you is, should you follow the instructions? The instructions are, here's your payment receipt, and here's an account update form. Can anybody tell me if there's any evidence that you see that would lead you to think that this is trustworthy or not trustworthy? Who wants to be brave? Mel first.
Do you remember actually buying something first?
Mel asked, for the people listening on the recording, you just asked, do I remember buying something from them? Perfect first question. It is. It's a great first question. What he's saying is, this email is assuming that I have business with them. Do I? If I'm like, I've never done business with Calvary D. Who is this? Then I'm immediately skeptical. I'm done. I'm almost done right there. I don't have any business with these people. I'm done. Right? In this case, I do. I do have business with these people. So is there anything else that you want to talk about in this email that would give you reasons to believe it's trustworthy or not trustworthy? Yeah, right here.
The first thing is account update form. I feel like that's pretty clear. And then it says your card ending in specific, amount specific for invoice specific, and then also payment receipt.
Right.
And the part of let me know if you have questions.
Right.
I think that sounds.
So Summer is pointing out that it mentions the card number was charged today in a certain amount with a certain invoice. You're saying it sounds like I have current business with them. And that's what they're making it sound like. And so I would immediately look at that and I'd be like, yes, I did do this business. In fact, it even says right up here, thanks for your call. Safe travels. I'm going to look at that and I'm going to be like, yeah, I did just talk to them on the phone. And so those are the things you need to look at. You need to say, yeah, I did talk to them. Yeah, they did just run my card. Yeah, that is the last 4 numbers of my card. That is the amount that I just paid. These are the things we need to look at. This is the evidence that we need to gain. And then we say, okay, now I can take the action. This email is 100% legitimate. Okay? And I have reasons to believe that this is legitimate. She talked to me on the phone. Yes, I did talk to her on the phone. She says she has current business with me that they've just processed. Yes, I do have current business with them I just processed. These are the things that I would look at and say, okay, this is legitimate. I have nothing else to fear. Okay? That's how clear that one ends up being. I think we have 5 or 6 of these. Let's see. Let me give you a number just so you have an idea. 6. About 6 of these. Maybe we'll do them all. Here's the second one. Here's a text message. Okay? It says, you received this text message. Is this nefarious or legitimate? That's a good movie too, Nefarious, by the way. You should watch that. Okay, I digress. So is this fake or is this legitimate? Here's the text. It comes from a 201 area code. And it says, let's do this. Now I can see everything. It comes from a 201 area code, and it says, how are you doing? And I responded, who is this, please? And they say, it's Emma. Isn't this Mr. Lee? And I said, no, it's not. And they responded, oh, I'm very sorry. I think I entered a wrong number. I hope I didn't bother you. Do you have any information to think that this is legitimate or fake? Try to hone in on it and say, what would you say? Yeah, Marin. Did you say they have my name? Is that what you said? Let's see. Do they have my name? They got my name wrong. That's what you said? Absolutely. So I'm already thinking this is a person I don't know. Good job. That's right. So I'm already thinking that it's somebody I don't know. Nathan.
Well, my personal experience, let me go into guys. If it was a real person, it wouldn't even say. My experience anyway, it wouldn't say anything like very sorry or whatever.
Yeah. Nathan says they're being way too nice. Absolutely. I mean, didn't we talk earlier about pulling on your heartstrings and compassion? If somebody wants to scam you, they're not going to be rude. They're going to be super nice. So absolutely, that's something you should look at. They're going to be over the top nice. This is one that this is the bank teller one. This is the example where I always say this is the bank teller one. Okay? There's nothing in this innately, intrinsically that's this silver bullet that you're like, oh, this is fake. There isn't. This is the bank teller one. How does a bank teller know fake bills? Because they've touched the real ones 1,000 times. And then when a fake one comes, they're like, there's something wrong here. That's this. That's this. I'm just going to tell you, and I hope you believe me, this is 100% fake. This is a scam. Delete it. Delete it. It's somebody that's just trying to slowly boil the pot and get your information. Don't fall for it. You don't need a new friend from somewhere you don't know anything about them and who they are. That's not the way you make friends. That's not the way to make friends. You got plenty of people right here in Chambersburg. If you're not friends already with everybody in this room, make friends with us, okay? That's some people you can make friends with. But the person from nowhere that you don't know, that's not the person you want to make friends with. It's a scam. All right, here's the third one. Let's do exercise number 3. It's another text message, okay? You received this text message. Should you follow its instructions? All I have is a very simple text message here. It says it comes from a 909 area code, and the entirety of it just simply says, Amazon, there is a problem with the membership payment method. Please update your account, and then it provides the link. Now don't just say good or bad, but somebody try to hone in on the specific. What demonstrates that this is bad or good? Raise your hand, right here. You said Amazon doesn't text us that kind of stuff. Okay. I'm not gonna say anything right now. I'm gonna keep going, and then Summer, what do you think?
For me, it's the fact that it's improper grammar. Something that's professional is not going to say Amazon there. It's going to be Amazon. This is Amazon. Hello, blah, 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 blah.
So she says there's improper grammar. It just says Amazon, there is a problem. It doesn't really seem to make good English sense. Would a company do that? Okay, that's your position there. I'm going to talk to all this in just a second. Nathan.
Yeah, it's like a lot of questions.
Okay.
Something wrong.
Okay. Seems nefarious. Okay. Was there one more somewhere? Okay. The answer to this one is as simple as we don't know. We don't know if it seems nefarious. I'm leaning towards the fact that it really doesn't have good English. I'm thinking it's nefarious, but the answer is we don't care. We don't care if this is real or not. We have a better way. The better way is what? Go to your Amazon app. We don't have, this is the one where we don't have to spend 20 minutes sharing it with our friends or what do you think about this? I don't know what to do. No, the answer is open your Amazon app. Done. Problem solved. That's the answer to this. Does that make sense to everybody? Go to the source. That's the go to the source one. Okay, here's number 4. We got about 6. Here's number 4. Here's an email received. The scenario says, you received this email. Should you click on the link? Okay, the email says it comes from Rocket Mortgage, at rocketmortgage.com. The email address seems like a legitimate email address. It came into a legitimate person. It's got a nice big graphic, Rocket Mortgage. Hello, Daniel. It knows my name, right? And then in the body, after the big picture, it says, hello, Daniel. As a result of your most recent escrow analysis, your mortgage payment for the loan ending with number may change effective December 1st, 2023. Sign in to your Rocket Mortgage to see your statement today. Watch your personalized video, yada, yada. Should I click on that link to go see my Rocket Mortgage statement? I'm very interested to know if my money is changing. I want to know. I have Rocket Mortgage. Should I click on the link? Okay, let me ask a different question. Is this a legitimate email? Could be was the answer. Okay, Mel? Could be. If I use them, I'm telling you I use them. Is this a legitimate email? There you go. This one has a lot of reasons to think it's legitimate. It has my ending account number. I don't know the last 4 of my mortgage. Does anybody know the last 4? I don't know that. So I can't necessarily verify that, but it says my money's changing. Okay, so here's the question in the scenario. Should you click on the link? Melvin.
Go directly to the website. Don't go through that.
Go directly. There is still, do you see what we're trying to emphasize right here? There is still 0 reason to click. Is it possible that this is a fake email? Yes, it is. I don't think it's likely, but it is absolutely possible that this is a fake email. I don't think it is. But you see how sometimes we don't have to deal with that because we're trained. We know what to do. I'm just going to go to my Rocket Mortgage app. I'm going to go to their website. And so that's exactly what we've got written up here. This is probably legitimate, but there is 0 reason to click on that link. 0 reason. That makes sense? All right, 2 more. 2 more and we're done. Here's the scenario. You received this email to you. This email is from someone that you know really well. Okay? Should you click on the link? Here's an email. It says it comes from Stan, somebody, and I know this person. I know them really well. It's an email. It's slid over a little bit here. It says, on Monday, October 16th, at this time, Stan wrote, and then it says, I should have sent these a little bit sooner. I hope you still remember these 2 ladies, and then there's a link. I know this person really well. Should I click on the link? This is an email. No. Have I made you all cynical?
But you know this person.
I know this person really well.
And you know that's the email.
I know that that's their email address.
Can emails be hacked?
Okay, an email can be hacked, he says. Okay, we have some personal experience with emails can be hacked. Okay. Anybody over here? Okay, usually photos aren't a link. Okay. One more person before we talk about this one. Anybody? Ah, that's a great question. The question was, did I reach out to them? Like, for instance, was I expecting this? Was I expecting this? That's a great question. Was there something else back here? Yeah. Sometimes you can hover over a link to know where it goes. This one is kind of generic. It's just www.somethings.com at the end. Sometimes, I wouldn't rely on that though, because there's things you can do with email addresses to mask them and literally make them say anything you want. So we haven't talked about that yet. That's a great point. So don't rely on what the link says. In fact, I gave you the example earlier that we sent a fake email out to 2,000 people saying, click on this link. One of the keys in that email that they should have known that it was fake, in the link, I made the link say shady content. In the link. And people were just like, I don't know, I just got an email and I clicked it, you know? I'm like, did you notice it said shady content right in the link? You know? So a shady tree, right? Yeah, right. Oh, yeah. So no, I'm glad you brought that up. We don't want to rely on whatever the link says. Doesn't matter. Good question. One more.
Well, I was just going to say, just by the content of the email, it just seems a little too straight to the point. Like, here's a photo, hope you remember them, but there's no context of a conversation. And to me, that's something that is handled out.
Okay, so you're saying, for the sake of the recording, you're saying there's not much context here.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Here's the answer for this one. But you got to put all of these things together to draw your conclusion. And I like what Alyssa said in the back. I like what you said, many other things. She said, was I expecting this? No, I wasn't. That starts to give me reasons to say, maybe I don't want to open this. Now, what if I had just talked to Stan and he said, hey, remember we were just talking about the thing, I'm going to send you those pictures tonight. Or I'm going to send you those pictures this week. Okay, well, that actually would be reason to believe, well, maybe I should open them. He told me he was going to send me this. Here it is, you know. But no, nothing like that happened, though. I was not expecting this in any fashion. That's a great question. And then context. That kind of goes to what you were saying about context, right? There's not much context here. Like, he didn't say anything like, hey, remember in preparation for our blah, blah, blah event that you know about, here's those pictures. No, there's no context. So here's the point of this one. Somebody said it. People's emails can be hacked. This is his actual email address, but guess what? It's not him. It's not him. His email address was hacked. So never click the link unless you were expecting it ahead of time. Does that make sense? Just because it came from somebody you know and love, this happens on Facebook all the time, right? Not so much on Instagram, but Facebook, right? Somebody gets into somebody else's Facebook and they just start sending out stuff in their name. It happens through email as well. Melvin.
If I could just add something coming from my background, being in the trucking industry with trafficking. If you see a link that somebody's supposedly sending you pictures, don't ever click that. Because if that would pop up as child pornography, there's your image. Talking about your reputation, your image. And as soon as you click that, you got it.
Absolutely. Your point you're making is if you click on something, they could now have something to blackmail you. I'll give you another example of what he just said. There was a famous story that happened in China in the early 2000s. I think it was 2006 or 7. They had an American student in China that they convinced him that if he would write an essay once a week and send that in, they were going to pay him progressively more money to write an essay. And he looked at it, and being in college in China, he thought, man, this is a good deal. I can make some money on the side to really help me through college. and all I'm doing is I'm taking my school essays, the work I'm already doing, and I'm going to send it into these people, and they're going to pay me for my work. They'll own my work, but they're going to pay me. So he started doing that. He started going to the same mailbox, dropping off an essay once a week at the mailbox in China. And then what he finds out later is they take him, they arrest him, and they take him into one of the Chinese police, we'll just say, and they said to him, you're going to start working for us, and you're going to start delivering drugs and doing this and that, and prostitution and this and that and everything else. And he's like, no, I'm not. And they're like, yeah, you are, because we have you on video every week dropping stuff off to us in the mailbox. You're already on the hook. And so that's how they blackmailed him, trying to say, you're already involved, you can't get out now. So even something like that you're doing for somebody you don't even know who they are, they can get you and they can blackmail you. So your point of don't open a link, it could be child porn or something, that's the point. Don't enter associations with anybody that you don't know, because you don't know what they have up their sleeve. You have no idea what they have up their sleeve. Here's the last one. I think we have one last exercise here. This is number 6. Scenario, you receive this social media private message. It says it's from your app's account support. And your account has violated policies and needs verified. Should you click the link to verify? And so here's the screenshot that says at the top of your list of private messages, it says it comes from account support. It says, hi, thanks for contacting us. We've received your message and appreciate blah, blah, blah. When you click into this, is that a problem? Clicking into that? It was in the list of my private messages. I clicked it to look at it. Is that a problem? Never. Never. Is that a problem? I didn't go anywhere. I'm still on my app. I didn't link to somebody else. I'm still on what is this? Instagram, I think, right? I think this is Instagram, okay? That's not a problem. You can look at an email all day long. You didn't do anything. Let's be clear about that, okay? When you click on a link or you go to an attachment, guess what you're doing? You're going somewhere else, okay? So I looked at the message, and it says it's from account support, a warning, dear admin page. Your page has infringed copyright information. Your account has been detected as violating our current copyright policy for security reasons. Verify your account by clicking the link below. Verify this related account. Here's the link. If you do not confirm, our system will automatically block your account. Thank you for helping us improve our account services. Copyright 2023, Facebook pages support, all rights reserved. And there was an automatic message that went back to them there. The question is, should we click on the link to verify and get things straightened out? Okay. What information leads you to think then that this is a problem? Headline spelling. It's spelled capital A, lowercase cc, capital O, lowercase UNT. Support has a capital S, but it also has a capital O. Is Meta ever going to do that? Never. Never. This is a classic tip-off to scammers. Misspellings. You know why often that's the case, that things are misspelled? Not that they're trying to misspell. It's being translated from some language to another. That's what causes the misspellings. Okay? Classic tip-off right there. Great job. How about another one?
Well, it's saying that you're violating their current copyright policy, but then it wants you to click the link to verify an account. That doesn't, to me, make any sense. Like, it just even, like, logically doesn't even, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, why would you need to click the link because you violated somebody's
Right.
copyright?
Yep. Yep. Feels like blackmail. Why does it feel, that's good. Why does it feel like blackmail? Yep. You said it feels like blackmail, and I'm going to put that in my words. They put a time rush. There's always this time rush element. Oh, you need to do this. It's got to happen. Right? Yep. One more?
I've never known a business to use happy emojis or anything.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Even simple things like that. You know? Absolutely. Now, here's, I would say, one of the kind of silver bullets with this one. You just never click the link unless you're expecting this ahead of time. How would you say, well, how would you expect this ahead of time? When you log into your Facebook or your Instagram or any other form of Meta, whether it's the Business Suite or any of their other applications, it's going to tell you. It's going to tell you. They don't need to send you a private message. They're going to alert you right away. So we just need to be wise like this, to recognize that that would not be the right business practice. So of all the examples, number 6 is the one that's a little less intuitive. You just have to come into accepting some of these better business practices and realize they're not going to send you a private message. But guess what? Anybody else could. Super easy for anybody to send you a private message. You don't even have to be friends with them, and they could send you a private message, right? Right? Listen, I'm going to do a couple of key takeaways, and then I want to hear if you guys have any that you want to talk about or go over. So if you've got a question, we're going to go some key takeaways, and then we're going to do what you want to do. I'm on time so far, just for the record. All right, here's a couple of key. Yeah, that's right. We're not done. Couple of key takeaways. So start with the assumption that the communication is fraudulent. If you are depressed because that's the era you live in, I cannot change the culture and the era we live in. It just is. We have to start with the fact that things are fraudulent and then build reasons to believe it. The next one, never click a link or go to an attachment unless you've developed some reasons to believe that it's legitimate. We're generalizing right now. We're making the principles. These are the things that I want you to walk away with. Okay? As simple and direct as they are. How about this one? Go directly to the official source. We saw that with this fake Amazon. We saw that with the Rocket Mortgage, right? Just go to the source. Go to the source. Next one. Update your device software as soon as the updates become available. There have been people that have been scammed out of their devices simply because they didn't do the updates for the last 2 years. You know, do your updates. Do your updates, okay? And then the last one, talk to your family and friends about what you're seeing. If you get one that comes in, I think my kids are bored with me. I sit around the table and like, oh, I got another one. Let me share it with you, around the dinner table. Like we're always sharing stuff like this. It's better for them to be bored with it than for them to not be aware of this stuff. And how about next? Be wise as serpents. Be wise as servants. We're supposed to provide for the poor, for the needy, for the widow. So do this for each other. Help each other out. Who's being targeted? Your parents, your brothers and sisters, the elderly. That's who's being targeted. So just make me a promise you'll go talk to one person that's a little older today, please. Not today, this week, right? This week, can we promise to that, right? We need to share the word. Hey, look, when you get something, don't click it unless you get some reasons to believe first, okay? Or talk to me. Tell them, talk to me, okay? We need to take what we have and share that with others and spread the word. That's the only way we can help. So, questions, answers, examples. Somebody give me one that you've seen recently. Is there one that you want to talk about? What have you seen? Yeah, right here, Donna.
It was a group text. All numbers I didn't know, 5 other numbers.
A group text.
Sent from a number to like 500 people. I didn't know any other numbers. It started out as a conversation.
Hey, Stephen, get that other little mic there, like this one. Yeah, go ahead.
And so now I have an iPhone, so there's a way, but it was hard to figure out how to go in and block those numbers. Because I tried to say don't contact. Well, they would just keep texting. And so, that's just something too that you should be aware of.
No, don't start over, but you can hand it to her though. Yeah, we'll pass that mic around for any questions here. Yep, that's good.
So that's just something
A group text, you couldn't block it.
It was a personal text, yeah, private text, but it was several numbers involved. So I don't know if anybody's ever gotten that before.
Yeah, and the best scenario there is you just got to ignore it. You got to put up with the traffic that's coming in. Has anybody else had that where you couldn't block it in a group text? Okay. Yep. There you go. Go ahead and pass the mic right over.
Yeah, to fix that, I just got a new number.
Yeah, just got the new number.
I just
Right,
went to
just-
AT&T. I was
kill
like,
the phone.
Just give me a new number.
Hey, at the end of the day,
since then I haven't had to deal with it.
yeah, sure. And I have found that there are some numbers like that are going to be bigger problems than others. So, do not call lists. I wouldn't put your faith in do not call lists at this point. There's just it's not that the government's not trying to help on that one. Not that I could say that for everything, but it's just that there's too many ways around that. So it's just don't bother with do not call lists at this point. It's not effective enough to take your time. So any other examples of things that have happened recently? Give us one more. Pass that mic right over there. Yeah.
Logos. They can really hide stuff in logos and everything, but yet make it look authentic.
Yeah.
So they do.
Yeah, that's called steganography, when they hide something in logos. So these days we have QR codes that are scannable and clickable and everything else. The steganography is where you're literally hiding data or malicious code inside of just an image. And so even that, if you're on an ad or if you get an email that you don't try, as you're hovering over an email and you're thinking about whether to click on it or not, don't click anywhere because it could even be an image that's clickable. So yes, that's a great point. Be careful we don't click anywhere in an email or an ad that we don't trust. Good point. Anybody else? Yep, in the back.
Well, I work for a company whose cybersecurity team actively sends out random, phishing emails, and then, you click on the link and it goes somewhere, or, you hit this is scam, and then they're like, thank you for reporting a phishing email sent to you by the cybersecurity team. But it's just always, it's either something about the job, or, someone higher up, or just nothing about the job. And so, I have a lot of coworkers who have gotten caught by it. I've been caught by it once. I'm not going to be the first to say, hey, I was never caught by it. But it's just crazy, the amount of emails that they've sent out just to say, hey, are we being secure at work?
That's great. I think one of the things you said that I want to pick up on is the idea that there's so much of it. There's so much of it. And we just said that 5% of the people fell for that example that we just ran recently. Okay. Think about just you as an individual. If you get, 200 emails and you fail 5% of the time, you just failed on 10 emails. You just, one time is all it takes. And you go to something and they can steal your data on your phone or device or whatever it is. It can only take that one time. I don't say that to scare you. I say that to prepare you. That this is the posture that we need to be in. Yep.
And especially with work, I just work for a chunky company, but still there's some stuff that we don't want to get out type thing. So yeah.
Absolutely. Every company has proprietary information, and you as an individual, you have personal information, and that they could piece just a couple of things together, and that's all it takes to steal your information. Your phone has plenty to steal your entire life. So yeah, be sure. Is there one more? Yeah, over here. Let's bring the mic over here.
You said as long as I don't click on anything on email, but is it okay to open an email? Because where I work, if you open an email, they'll get you for
So some individual companies may have even stricter policies on their administrative process. But the ability to click on a malicious link of any variety, anything that would be harmful, can't happen just by previewing it, just by opening the email and looking at it. There cannot be a harm in that because you're simply utilizing what's already come in. You're looking at it within your verified product, your Outlook or whatever it is. So if you see it in a preview pane and you click on that to see that email in a separate email pane, that cannot possibly be harmful. Now, that doesn't mean that you might not have a local policy that says don't do even that. But I'm saying that can't present malicious logic onto your computer. It cannot.
Okay.
But when you click on a link, that by nature
Right.
is taking you beyond your trusted resources to something else. Or if you click on an attachment, by nature, that's taking you beyond your trusted resources, like your email, your Outlook, or whatever it is. So, yeah, be clear. You cannot be harmed by viewing it, but you may have a local policy that says don't even do that. I hope that helps. Yeah. Yep. Good. Okay. Yeah, we over here on the side. Yep.
Would that same action be taken for a text?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You can view a text all day long. Whatever comes into you, you can view it all day long. Because without getting into the code of it all, the protocol that it takes to view something within your trusted program, within your text, that's trusted. It's just, in fact, has anybody ever gotten an email or a text that you can't read? It's just gibberish. That's an attempt to actually bypass your local program that you're using, so that even by nature of hitting you, it's putting malicious code onto your computer. That's what that means. Okay? But if you're receiving a message in any form, email, text, that you can read, then by nature they didn't harm you. They're just sending a plain text code that is just visible, and that's it. That can't harm you, whether text or email.
Even if that's through other forms of social media messaging?
Yes, just to view it. You know, and I'm not going to say that for every form of social media. Social media is coming out with new stuff all the time, right? You know, apps that people never even heard of, but if you're using all the major companies that everybody knows about, whether it's Facebook, Meta, Instagram, these are trusted interfaces, okay? TikTok's a whole other story, okay? TikTok, by nature, should be not counted as a trusted platform. If you have TikTok, I would tell you to get rid of it right now. It should not be considered a trusted platform. It's not that what's coming into you is any different than any of the other apps. It's that the manufacturer can't be trusted to keep your data. The actual app itself. So that's why TikTok is different. So on TikTok, it's the same as everything else, where if something comes into you, you can generally trust it, but I don't trust the actual source. I don't trust TikTok themselves. There's too many examples, hard examples, that they're not to be trusted with your data.
Something you just said and what Paul said earlier about logos that can be deceptive made me think of something else from my industry, where trafficking information and pornography is being hid under an app that looks legit, like say it looks like a Facebook app. You go in and here that's black market or whatever they call that, is hidden underneath, but you got to know ahead of time, I guess, how to access that. But those links could be hiding anywhere too, where it looks like a legitimate app, but it's another form of garbage.
Absolutely. There's links everywhere. I think that we did a good job mentioning, even with the logos and things, when we say don't click on the link, well, we need to be careful. We don't click anywhere in that email. The text is a little different, because text apps are really locked down unless there is a hyperlink. But an email can be clickable anywhere because they're presented as a different protocol. It's an HTTP protocol that's used for an email. So like that example we gave with Rocket Mortgage, it had that big image there right in the email. That protocol allows you to make everything clickable. So you got to be more careful with emails and where you're clicking than you do with texts. I hope, did that address your point? Yeah. Okay.
No, but my point I was trying to make is, if someone is searching for something dark, these apps are out there that it looks like one thing, but it's another. So be real careful if you go in an app store and you look for something.
Got it.
Make sure you're getting the actual app that you're looking for.
Good point. We didn't touch on that yet.
I'm sorry.
No, it's good. Don't accidentally go to Google. That's not Google. That will look just like Google. It will. It'll look identical to Google, but it's not Google. And you can click on all kinds of things and give away all your information in the next 4 seconds. Yep. Yeah. Misspelled URLs is people are constantly trying to buy URLs that look similar but different than the real ones, so they can intentionally get you. Yep.
So I was just curious about passwords. Like, I know you shouldn't use the same one for everything, but so what if you run out of ideas? I mean, what are, like, some sites, they want you to change it all the time, and they have all these requirements, and
yeah.
So
okay, I'm going to give you something we use in symmetric and asymmetric encryption. Use a key. Let me explain that. Okay, so the question is, how can we come up with a password? How can we actually change passwords every year without losing our mind? That's the question, right? Okay, let me give you some tips. I can't give you the specific, but I'm going to give you some tips that you can come up with the specific. Come up with a key. This is what I mean. You can change anything into numbers. You could change numbers into letters. Look at a phone. Right? Do we do that anymore? Do we look at phones for numbers and letter conversions? You know what? Does the younger crowd know what I'm talking about? Okay? You can convert numbers to letters in a heartbeat. Come up with your own key. Maybe for you, A is 1, B is 2, C is 3. Come up with anything that is your own key, okay? And then either modify your key slightly or modify your password slightly using your key. Now, I don't know that I've been clear enough yet. Let me make the point. Let's say I want my password to be, let's say I'm going to put in a password for Facebook, okay? Maybe my key is the really simple one that I just gave you. A is 1, B is 2. Well, I want to remember my Facebook password. So I'm going to use that key. So in that example, F would be what? 6, right? So maybe in my key, I say to myself, the first letter of my password, I'm always going to use my key. Okay? So for my password for Facebook, in the my password for Facebook in this fake example, in that case, would then be 7, because that's the F, right? Is that 7? 7 would be F in my fake example. My password would be, right? Did I get that right? A, B, C, D, E, F. Yeah, 6. So my password would be 6, A, C, how would you spell Facebook? Right? Just I'm confusing myself now. 6, ACEBOOK, and then maybe always have a hook on the end because everybody needs a special character. Use the same special character every time. Okay, on the end. So that's my key. My key is now everything I use, I'm changing the first digit. But you just told me I have to change it every year. Piece of cake. Change your key once a year. So now next year, my key is going to be A and B are number 1, C and D are number 2, and then E and F are number 3. And so do the same thing. And now you have a whole new set of passwords for the next year. So if I go further, we'll have to have a whole class on this. But the idea is if you just come up with a key, some trigger that you're using, then you can have a whole new set once a year. A whole new set. And it's just based on that one thing. And you only have to remember how many things? One thing. You only have to remember one thing. This is what my key is. There you go. Yeah, I would encourage you to come up with one thing that you have to remember that would help you to know them all. And then you can change once a year and you feel comfortable that you're not going to forget. Yeah. We got the mic for Nathan? Well, yeah, great. Oh, Mike first and then Nathan.
I have 2 questions. One, can you get hacked going through YouTube? And 2, how safe is when Google always asks, should I save this password? Which I never do, but is that safe?
Okay, so the first one was, can you get hacked using YouTube? YouTube itself won't hack you, but if people write comments that put links, yes, you can get hacked. If you're going to a YouTube subscriber that you don't know very well and they're like, oh, click here for all my other stuff on my website, and you don't really know them, yes, you can get hacked. So it's the same type of thing as email and Facebook or email and social or texting, where the source is trusted, but the users that are putting things there may not be trusted.
So as long as you use the video, you're fine.
Yeah, going to YouTube and watching videos all day long. But if there's a link that's going to take you outside of YouTube, there's where we don't trust it. We don't trust it. Unless it's, hey, I've watched this guy's videos for 10 years, Mark Roper, and he does all this NASA stuff, and he's a very public figure. Everybody knows him, and this is his official channel, and he just said, click here to get my other things. Great. I click it. I trust him. I have reasons to believe that that's legitimate. Yep. Nathan. Sorry. And then you did ask the second half.
See, Google asked to save password.
Right. Yeah, if Google asks you to save your passwords, can you do it? That's typically not Google so much as it's your phone, your device. Your device is saying, do you want to save this password? And yes, that's absolutely safe because any operating system, whether it's a phone or a computer, is encrypting that stuff. It's very safe to do that. And that's very helpful too. You know, do you want to remember this password on this browser? Yes, that's okay. If it's your home computer, right? If you're at, McDonald's using their Wi-Fi on your home computer, no. If you are on somebody else's public computer, do you want to save this? No. Okay, but if you're on your home computer and your home network, do you want to save this in your browser? Yes. Or on your phone, right? Home computer or phone. Yep.
I'm just curious, how effective is with your password? How effective is changing one digit every time you go to change?
Yes, absolutely effective. Think about it this way. If you have a password that's 8 digits long, which most of them require 8 digits or more now, if you have a password that's 8 digits long and you change one character, and I knew your old password, how many attempts do I have to go through to find that one character change? Way bigger. Think about it. Think about a 4-digit, let's do this, 4-digit combination. 4-digit combination, the password right now is 0000. And I tell you, I changed one digit. How many times do you have to try to find it?
Yeah.
The answer is 1,000 because there's 4 digits. If you have an 8-digit password and you change one character, I got to go through 1 followed by 7 zeros. 1 followed by 7 zeros. Is that 10? Is that a million? 1 followed by 10 million. 1 followed by 7 zeros is 10 million, right? Yeah. You would have to go through 10,000 permutations to find his new password. So yeah, changing just one digit is sufficient. Is it the best answer? No, it's probably not the best answer, but it's a good answer.
Yeah. Well, I ask because of work, because I got to get on the computer for my tech notes. So they make it change it every 3 months, but I hate changing passwords. So
come up with a key. Come up with a key. Yeah. 16. Yeah. You change one digit in a 16-digit password, you're good.
So all I do is just like change the digit at the end every time. So it's
fine.
1 and up.
Totally fine. Again, it's not the best answer, but that's totally fine. Totally fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of add something onto the password managers. Certain VPN services like Norton or NordVPN, you can subscribe and they will manage your passwords as well as encrypt. And VPN, in layman's terms, is a virtual private network. It isolates your IP address and all that and kind of hides it.
Hides it. Hides it is a good word. It basically takes your data and a VPN encrypts your data when it goes out the door, and it stays encrypted until it gets to the end that you want it to be on. A VPN is a good solution. I don't recommend a VPN for a common person of no reputation. But if you are somebody that develops any kind of reputation that you could become a target because you have a reputation, then I would absolutely start recommending to use tools like that. Absolutely. I mean, you look at popular people, whether it's a celebrity, a politician, a sports star, whatever else, and the conversation goes to another layer where we say, okay, there are some tools on the market you need to use, or they're going to get you. You're going to be targeted 100 times, 5,000 times more than the average person because there's more value there. So yeah, VPN would be a great solution for people.
Because some of those VPNs, they also like scan websites and tells you like, hey, this website is very dangerous. Don't go on here, or this website is fine.
Yep. The average person can just not get attacked. Okay. Yeah. The celebrity needs to go on the offense, and they need to. I don't have a security system on certain assets. Okay, I got to keep that generic, right? But a celebrity in my situation, they would have to have a security system on their certain assets, right? Yeah, just by nature of who they are. So one of the things I want to say to your point is, if you develop any kind of reputation, you hit the lottery someday. Okay, that's in the news. The area's going to know about it. You need to come back and do some cybersecurity 2.0 because you will be targeted. So that's I think a good point to what you're saying. Yep. Yeah. Is there one more before we go? Right over here with the mic, please. Look, if we're late, it's not my fault anymore.
No, I'm just going to give an example of how a small business owner can get attacked. You know it. They hacked into my Microsoft account, got my email password, and since 2020, everything is done through email, payments, contacts for business. So they got my whole contact list of customers, started sending emails to them under me. And you saw the emails. They look exactly like my emails. So my customers, and then I'm ghosted because I don't know what's going on. And then they picked a weekend that I was away to do that too. The only way I knew something was up was I would get little excerpts on my phone from the customers emailing back to that person. As soon as I'd swipe it, it's gone. So I was ghosted. So that took me 4 or 5 months to totally get taken care of because they hit my customers' bank accounts. Because one of my customers, without contacting me first, I got a lot of customers calling me then. She started sending blank checks that she sent to me to this person. Yes. Before she contacted us. Yes. Yep.
Before she contacted what? The official source.
Exactly. So others were contacting me. And luckily one guy was a bank guy. Anyhow, he caught it right off the bat, but so they were not only getting my customers, my customer list. They hit my bank account. They hit my vendors, and it was just a chain after chain after chain. And it's a long time and I'm just a small business. Can you imagine what these big businesses would have to go to? It was months. I was still hitting up that happened in July, and I was still fixing stuff in October.
Time wasted.
Yes.
You got to be careful the reputation is not wasted. They leveraged their good reputation to try to scam their users. That's what we're up against. So I'm going to give you one last example and we'll close right here, okay? One person in my family was looking to sell a car on Facebook. And I think a couple of you have heard this, but not very many. He was looking to sell a car on Facebook. Got lots of responses. Somebody responded and said to, I got to make it a little more simpler here. Samuel was selling a car on Facebook. The person said to Samuel through Facebook, I'm interested in your car, but I don't know I can trust that you're a real person, Samuel. So I want you to send me your cell phone number. We can just chat in text, regular text. He asked me, hey, is this legit? I was like, you can give out your cell phone number. Can't go wrong. Can't go wrong. And that's true. That's true. The next thing that happened was the person's communicating in text and he says, okay, well, so that I know that you're a real person, Samuel, I'm going to send you a link in your text email. Just click on the link and then I'll know that you're a real person. So a text comes in to Samuel that says something like, verify your identity, click here. Well, the text that came into Samuel said it was from Google. Here's this guy on the other line saying, I'm going to send you a text so you can verify you're a real person. The text comes in and it comes from Google. Has anybody figured out the scam yet? This person went to Samuel's Google, which you can log into your Google account with your phone number as your username. He put in Samuel's cell phone number as the username and then hit forgot password. The forgot password sends a link to Samuel's email. And this guy said, just click on the link and then send me the code that it gives you, and then I'll know you're a real person. That guy wanted to reset Samuel's Google account so that he could have everything in there. And that is the perfect launch. That doesn't give him Samuel's entire identity, but in another day, it would have given him his entire identity. So one of the things we want to really raise in this training is that I cannot exhaust to you the types of attack vectors that the threats will come in. We can't. They're going to continue to change. We need to be ready to do those key takeaways. We need to be ready to not trust things until we develop reasons. We need to be ready to not click on anything until we develop reasons. We need to talk about these things as they come in and just stay abreast of what's out there and available. We'll take one last question over here, and then we're going to close.
I was just going to comment on the cell phone number or any number. I'm old school, so I was always cautious who I gave my number out to or address.
Absolutely.
Because I just hate junk mail, I hate junk messages, and that's just how I've always dealt with it.
Yeah.
Very cautious.
Yeah, keep the simplicity of not having 1,000 people communicating to you that you don't know if you can trust them or not, because that's another key. Keep your inboxes simple. Unsubscribe to things that you don't want. There's always a link for legitimate companies at the bottom of that email. You can click unsubscribe, and then don't click on it if you don't trust the email. But if you're getting it from a company that you already trust, I get this from my mortgage company every month and I don't need it. Well, go to the bottom, click that unsubscribe, and then simplify your life so you don't get scammed. Because then if you've unsubscribed to your legitimate Rocket Mortgage, and then 2 months later you get something that says it's Rocket Mortgage, well, then it's probably a scam, right? So keep your life simple. All right. So look, we're here and we pray for the security of your digital life, but we also are here because we're concerned about the security of your eternal life. And in this case, we know most everybody in the room, but we would do you no service if we tried to protect your reputation, your time, and your finances online, and we didn't try to protect you eternally. So in this case, I know this room pretty good, but we want to be careful that we present that to you. That we want you to know the one that can ultimately keep us secure, because then whether this life goes downhill, whether we get scammed, not scammed, whether this life goes great, bad, or good, or indifferent, we can have the security of knowing that Christ holds us in the palm of his hands, and that no matter what happens in this earth, he can take us with us into the security of eternal heaven. So we want you to know that. We want everybody to have that security above all. So, and certainly if you don't know the Lord or you don't know his word, we're here and available, but this room knows that. So with a word of prayer,